Hey Joe, it's Folks here. In today's video, I'm going to share with you how you can start your own Shopify print-on-demand store and use social media marketing to make your first sales with just a $100 budget. Obviously, as time goes on, there could be other things that you could use your budget for. This video is just to help you to get started. The strategies I'm going to be reviewing are the same ones I've been using with this store here. I started it on April 17th. Right now, we're over $36,000 in sales. We have 285 orders. And I'm running at about a 40% profit margin. Back in April, when I started the store, I got just over $1,200 in sales. That's where I was using a lot of these really low budget strategies. As time has gone on, you can see that we've made almost $10,000 in sales every month since launching. And here is how our $100 budget is going to break down. We're going to be reviewing all of these things today. I do primarily want to focus on marketing in today's video. So if you need help starting your store and setting up Shopify and things like that, I do have a free course down in the description of this video. Inside are over 30 videos to help you to get started. You can see for our store, we're going to be spending just $2. Shopify has a $1 trial where you will be able to run your store for the first month for just $1 and hopefully make your first sales. This is why I said earlier, of course, in the future, there could be more things that you're spending money on. Of course, your Shopify subscription could be one of those things. The goal of this video, like I said, is to help you to get started with $100. On your store, you'll also need a domain name. One really great service that I have used a lot is called .store domains. I do have a promo code to get you a 99-cent domain for your first year in the pinned comment of this video. On their site here, you can see that they reference a study. It says that stores with a .store domain get 87% more traffic, 2 times the search visibility, and 12% lower cost per conversion. These types of domains are becoming very popular. People like Michelle Obama, Mariah Carey, even Mr. Beast are using them on their merch stores. And as I said, I have used these on my own as well. Because we're starting with a $100 budget, using a .store domain for just 99 cents for the first year is a great way to go. Now, when it comes to marketing, like I said, we're going to be spending the majority of our time today talking about how to actually market your products with a $100 budget. We've already used $2 of our $100 on getting the store set up with the Shopify trial and the .store domain, which means we have $98 left. To start, I want to make sure that instead of just jumping into some of the paid strategies with Facebook ads or with influencers, we first talk about how to market your products for free. This is something I talked about extensively when I attended the Printify event in New York City. I basically made the main theme of my talk about getting followers on social media. To get followers, you're going to have to create a page that people in your niche will actually want to follow. We're going to get them to follow us based on the types of content that we are posting. What I would recommend to get started with this is to check out some of the competitors inside of your niche to see what sort of things they're posting on their accounts. Potential things to post could include different videos or images that you create and then share onto the account. You can also share viral videos or memes as well. And ultimately, the goal is to get engagement. Basically, you want people in your niche finding your content, liking it, and commenting, and ultimately following your account. The idea is to build something for the long term and to ultimately gain followers inside of your niche. The reason this is significant is because once you gain some followers, you can then promote products to them. This is a strategy I have used on every single print-on-demand store I have ran. It is definitely something for the long term, so do not be discouraged when you just start. It is very likely that your account growth will be slow at the beginning. As I mentioned before, I do have a free print-on-demand course. Inside of it, I have actually included a content creation guide that I created with Printify. When I attended the event in New York City, we made this for the audience. I've included that guide inside of my free course. As I mentioned, there is a link down in the description. Inside of the guide, you will see lots of different types of content that you can create. There will also be some tips about promoting your products to your followers, and I also review how often you should be promoting your products. And ultimately, like I said, this is a free marketing strategy that you should start as soon as you launch your store. For the rest of our marketing, we're going to be using our entire $98 that are left. And what I want to first review before we talk about running ads on Facebook or on Instagram is something that literally anybody can do to start making their first sales. What I'm talking about is influencer marketing. This is something that I've talked a lot about here on my channel, especially as I've been talking about things that I've been doing with my new store. Back in early May, I made this video here where I talked about how I made my first $1,000 in sales using influencers. influencers. As I mentioned, this is a second store that I started on April 17th. When the store was brand new, if I change this to maybe the first 2 weeks of it being open, you can see that we have over $1,000 in sales. I was only using influencers to make these sales, and I want to review for you how you could do the same to make your first with a budget of less than $100. When I say influencer marketing as well, what I'm talking about is you using a content creator inside of your niche to actually promote your items. No matter what your niche is, there's likely people on TikTok or on Instagram or even on YouTube that are making content about your niche. The goal is to partner with them to have them promote your products to their audience. As I mentioned, this is something that literally anyone can do. Ultimately, I have found that a lot of beginners are a little bit nervous to try this, but as I mentioned, it is highly effective. Ultimately, these are content creators with a following, and if they are showing your products to their audience, there is a very high chance that some of them will go check out your store. The first step is to find an influencer. As I mentioned, you could look on TikTok or Instagram or even on YouTube. I would suggest simply searching for different things about your niche and looking for content creators that are consistently making videos or images relevant to your niche. In terms of follower count, I typically look for people that are under 100,000 followers. To me, these are called micro influencers, and because we are using a budget of $100 or less to do this, those are the types of people that we are going to have the best chance of success of actually working with. If we are reaching out to accounts that have 1 million followers or something like that, it's likely going to be pretty difficult for us to secure a deal with this sort of budget. After you find some influencers, you're going to want to reach out to them. What I typically do is prepare a script. This means that I am typing something in like a Google Doc in advance, so that way I can copy and paste it to everybody. With your script, there's really just a few things that you want to make sure you include. In general, I do try to be direct, and I'm also trying to be brief, as this is the first message that I am sending. Basically meaning you don't want to write a huge story or tell them everything about your life. You simply just want to tell them who you are, what you are selling, and what you are looking to do. The what you are looking to do part is basically telling them that you want them to promote your products. You could say something like, "Hey there, my name is Joe. I run this store here. We're looking to partner with people like you. Do you do promotional posts?" Ultimately, it can be as simple as that. And the idea is to get them to say yes and then offer them a free sample in exchange for a shout out. Imagine a situation where someone that has like 30,000 or 40,000 or 50,000 followers has your product in hand, takes their own photo or video showing the product, and tells their followers about your store so that way they can get their own. As I mentioned, this is something I have used to get my second store off of the ground, and I think if you explore it, you could also make some of your first sales as well. In terms of our actual budget here, the way that it's broken down, I've allotted $73 for this, so depending on what you're selling, this could mean 2 to 3 samples that you are sending. You could choose to send all of them to one influencer, or you could split it up between multiple people. And ultimately, like I said, this is just to help you to make your first sales. The next part of this process is we are going to spend $25 on ads on both Facebook and on Instagram. To do this, we're going to use the sales objective inside of your Facebook ad account. In a lot of cases, I do a lot of testing with the engagement objective because with our $25 budget, we're going to be able to start an ad at $5 per day and run it for 5 days in the hopes of making our first sale. Obviously, when you're setting up your ad, there are some different things to consider. I want to make sure though that I focus on the 2 primary things that are likely going to drive the performance of your ad. Obviously, as I mentioned, we are going to be starting this ad at just a $5 per day budget. This is going to allow us to run it for 5 days. The first thing that's most important is going to be your audience. Your audience is who you are actually showing the ad to. When you're building your audience, there's a few different things to consider. Obviously, various demographic things like location or someone's age or their gender is important, but what's also important is the actual interest keywords that you are choosing to include. If your niche was hunting, for example, you could type hunting in, and you could select from the list of suggestions lots of other things as well. The idea would be to search for keywords relevant to your niche. You are essentially trying to target members of your niche with your ad. In a lot of cases, if people are not getting good results with their ads, there's a chance that they are just showing the ad to the wrong people. If you have a great design for your niche, but the people that are seeing it are not members of your niche, then it's likely not going to work. Ultimately, your audience is the first key to actually being successful with your ad. A few moments ago, we talked about influencer marketing. One of the cool parts of influencer marketing is that when someone does promote your item, you could potentially use whatever they are posting as your actual Facebook or Instagram ad. You can see here in this example, I've actually uploaded a photo of someone holding a print-on-demand metal sign. This image is not actually an image of one of my products. This is just another influencer post that I have seen, and I wanted to use it as an example. Obviously, there are lots of other print-on-demand products besides just metal signs, so whatever it is you're selling, the idea would be to take the post from the influencer and use it as your actual ad. Sometimes real photos like this actually do a great job at selling your item, and ultimately I have found that sometimes I get more clicks on my ads when I'm using a photo like this. However, I don't want you to panic if you do not have a photo like this for your ads. I'm just giving you some examples. When it comes to setting up your ad, there are a few different spots that you are going to be typing information into. You'll see the primary text section here. This is where you can share something about your product. You could tell them where it's made, you could tell them what it is, or something like that. You'll also want to edit the headline section. This is where you're sharing some sort of a promotion. You could also add some sort of a promotion into the description box below as well. Just make sure to be mindful about how many words you are typing in, because it could potentially get cut off if you type too many things. One thing I like to do on my ads as well is add a get offer button. This way when someone sees it, it is potentially more attractive. I don't have any data to back this up, but ultimately I do use the get offer button. If you wanted to use the shop now button, that could be an option too. And ultimately you will have yourself an ad that is promoting your product on both Facebook and on Instagram. As I mentioned, we have a $25 budget for this with our total of $100, so we are going to be able to run that ad for 5 days. And ultimately, altogether, we've spent $100. Now, obviously, like I said, if you are just starting, this is sort of an initial launch of your store. The idea here was to outline some social media marketing strategies for you to help you to get started with a low budget. A lot of people that I talk to think that social media marketing is the hard part of print on demand, and honestly, it really is not that complex. The hard part of print on demand is creating a design that people will actually pay for. All of this marketing stuff is rather straightforward once you get some experience doing it. When it comes to organic methods, the idea, like I said, is to attempt to post content that people in your niche will actually like. The goal is to get them to follow your account so that way you can promote products to them. When it comes to influencer marketing, again, we're just looking for content creators inside of our niche to promote our items. If you find someone that has a great following and is also good at creating content, they would be a good fit to promote your items. Thirdly, when it comes to ads, like I said, the targeting and also your ad image are the two things that you should be focusing on. But ultimately, at the end of the day, if you don't have good designs and you haven't built a great looking store, it's likely that a lot of this won't actually get you results. That's why I say the hard part of print on demand is actually creating a product that people will pay for. In my free course, POD for Dummies, it's linked down in the description. I do have lots of videos to help you to make sure that you are on the right track with those things. And ultimately, I have found that when I create a great looking store and when I choose good niches and make good designs, everything I've covered with marketing actually produces results. Hopefully this has been helpful. If you try this with $100, let me know in the comments how it goes. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.